I'm even frightened for this session. Someone asked me the other day, when do I think the pain and hurt that can be produced through sex or the wrongful sex, when can our nation be healed from sexual perversion and immorality? And the answer is quite simple. When we can start talking about sex as if it is the weather. If we can come to a point where we can be so normal about sex, but we may not talk out of the bedroom. But luckily, one of the points that I'm going to teach you is how to use the kitchen. Unless you've got granite tops. That's a little bit cold on the bum. The age-old question, what do women want? I bought a book I love reading on the subject, and I saw a big book. It's thick, volume 1. What women want. Thought, brilliant. Open it up. Blank. Turned it. Blank. Next chapter. Blank. What do women want? We do not know. On my way flying, there was some turbulence and some severe turbulence. The pilot came over the intercom and said, I don't think we're going to make it. So brace yourself. In the back, a woman started screaming, "Ah!" And she unbuckled herself, stood up, said, I can't die like this. I must die while feeling like a woman. I have to leave this planet while experiencing how a woman feels. And in business class, the strapping young lad, no, it wasn't me, heard her, got a little bit of a smirk in his face because he got the answer. He knows how to make this woman feel like a woman. He unbuckled himself, stood up, and started walking down the aisle towards her. She saw him, she nearly fainted. Because she realized her dream is going to be fulfilled, that she's going to be felt like a woman. Halfway down the aisle, all the men sitting next to the aisle giving him a high five. Oh yeah, man. You go. Other women he's passing. Damn it, I should have shouted. 1 meter, 2 meters away from her, he pulled off his shirt, buttons flying, the whole cabin. At that exact time, a lightning stroke outside, and it illuminated the cabin. It rippled in on his muscles and his sweat, and just magic. She nearly fainted again. He's standing right in front of her now with his torn off shirt. And he said, you want to feel like a woman? And he handed her the shirt and he said, iron this. Not? No. Definitely not. There's 3 things that a woman desire. Number 1, to be treated differently. You don't want to be just a number. You want to be special. Especially in public. It doesn't help if your husband whispers sweet nothings in your ear at night. But in the public, he sees other people. He treats other people differently. And you just there, serving another drink. Is it true? You want to be different. He must treat you differently in public. So, Timothy, why are you telling me this? Phone my husband and tell him. Remember what I said in this morning session? That sometimes the women are your worst enemy yourself. And one of the reasons why it is so difficult for us husbands to treat our wives differently in public is because you sometimes treat us differently in public by showing us up, by being critical and showing out our flaws, rolling our eyes. Not in PE. If you want your husband to start treating you differently in public, you must start treating him differently in public in a good way. Start building him up. Start putting this seed, this positive seed in the ground, and you'll be amazed what grows out of it. Don't worry, this is just foreplay. We'll get to the juicy bit. I'm still getting to know you. The second thing that women desire after she's been treated differently in public, she wants to be desired, she wants to be kissed, she wants to be taken. Nee. So let him. Hy moet my eers vang. Don't close yourself off to your husband. Don't build that impenetrable wall. Don't be as cold as ice. I mean, any normal man likes an ice cold beer, but that's why he bought a fridge. He doesn't want to put the beer in his wife's ice packet. Now you must be warm. Don't close your sexuality off to him. Allow him, to kiss you, to take you, and to desire you. But again, why are you telling me this? Tell my husband. Again. A lot of times, we as women make the husband choose. So we wait for him to watch his rugby game, and then we decide to get kinky. Put on that nice nighties, those stilettos. I would have came with my stilettos. I do have pink, sparkling pink stilettos. I wear it in my show. And I wanted to bring it, but then the customs at the airport said no weapons allowed. And if you wear them correctly, it's a weapon. So you're putting on your lingerie and it's beautiful, you're looking fine. And just as the rugby game starts, you waltzes in front of the TV. Now you choose. You don't want to watch the game? Oh, follow me. Don't do that. You're not auctioning yourself off. Watch the game with him, and afterwards, there's halftime. Long enough. But because we've got such a big desire in being different, we continually put tests for our husband to prove to ourselves that he still loves us. Why? Why are you doing that? Don't do that. Because he will fail. He will fail. He chose you already. Just enjoy it. Don't retest and retest and retest and retest it. Come on. Just enjoy your intimacy. Don't make him choose. Don't make it just on your terms or on your timing. Enjoy the space. And if that space is now watching rugby together, then do that. Because a lot of times when the man approaches you, I'm still sleeping. Then it doesn't work for you, so don't do it for him. But we do it and then we get rejected. The third thing that women desire is for her husband to share his emotions with her. So why am I telling you this? So that you can learn to because if you talk the whole time, he won't share his emotions. He can't compete. Jy wen. Visualize a table between you and him. And all your emotions is on that table. Where's the space for his? He's going to take one look at it and say, I can't. So if you want your husband to talk to you, if you want your husband to share what's important in his life, his emotions with you, and then go sit next to him. And then, that was close. The Bible says, it gives advice for a Christian woman, a believer that's married to a non-believing husband. What advice does the Bible give you? How are you going to win him over? By saying nothing and loving him. Wow. But it's so difficult for you. Okay, so, the foreplay. Start treating him differently in public. Start building him up. Take off the restriction that he has to your body and to your sexuality. Don't make him work for it. Let him enjoy it. And thirdly, just enjoy his company. Just be in his space. And I promise you, he will start opening up. I promise you. Women bring their husbands for counseling to me every day. And they say, he doesn't say anything. I don't even know if he's English or Afrikaans. What is his native tongue? I don't know. Okay. Thank you. I'll take it from here. No. And then I just wait. I get paid by the hour, so. Then he starts. And if a man starts talking, he's got a lot to say. So give him that space. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Now, to the fun stuff. Well, that was fun as well. Let's see how high your sex education, your sex IQ is. What is the strongest sex organ? Your mind. My professor always said, sex is not between the legs, it's between the ears. That's why buying a Kama Sutra book won't help save your marriage. Because it doesn't change your thinking. It just gives you performance anxiety. How the heck do I get my foot up there? What? I'll break my neck. So before anything, we should change our thinking. We should change the way we view sex. So the strongest sex organ is your mind. What's the biggest organ? Your biggest sex organ? Clearly, there's no men here because they would have said junior. Men's egos. A man's ego is situated in two places. His wallet and his pants. And if he can't get the one full, he won't get the other one up. So, you must understand that a man's ego, it's like checking the oil of a car. You take out that dipstick. Okay. It looks very long, but actually it's just a little bit of oil out of it. Oh, yeah. The title of today is Marriage and Happy Sex Life. Do you know how to get a happy sex life? Happiness. Happiness. I'm sorry, I just ruined a perfectly good word for you. You're welcome. Who of you ever breastfed? A baby, not your husband. Okay, a couple of you. Have you ever, when that baby has drunken full, it pulls off, you call it milk drunk. Have you ever seen that? That's how your husband should look when you're done with him. Love drunk. So, a good thing, a good technique, how to boost your husband's ego is to do sex in front of a mirror. Why? Because everything looks bigger. With all the men that I work with, they don't want more sex. They just want you to be there while you're having sex. Don't give permission for him to abuse your body. Be in the moment. Be together. Mind, body, and soul. That's what men desire. For women to participate in the act of lovemaking. Be there. And give him something to look at. Don't put off the lights. It's not about the orgasm. It's not about the sex. It's about seeing you. Leave the lights on. Flip him around. You sit on him. What? I'm scared I'm going to fall off. Then you hold on. There's a handbrake there. Do a 360 donut around it. But don't be too wild, you can break it, okay? Gips gaan nie help dan nie. They did a study on what men look at when they look at pornography. And I do know that the men in PE don't have that problem, but just bear with me. Studies have shown that men look at 3 places when they look at pornography. Over the shoulder? No. Okay. They track the pupils of the eye to see where on the image they focus. They focus on the woman's face, on her breasts, and on her, you want to say, vagina, not vajayjay, or moomfie, or knofappelknie, of paratjie. But even if we call it a vagina, it's not really that. What's the correct name? See, you don't even know what your own body is named. How on earth or can you expect your husband to circumnavigate the unknown if you don't even know about it? It's like sending him into the desert without a compass. He'll die there. It's called a vulva. Not a Volvo, that's something that you can ride. Wow. Okay. It's called a vulva. And it's important to understand that it's a vulva and not just a vagina, because otherwise he's going to treat you just like a vagina. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. 3 minutes, it's finished. Studies have shown Men take from 3 to 5 minutes from start to finish. I don't have to tell you this, you know. Liefie, hoe was dit vir jou? You only convinced yourself you are okay by doing it now, then it's finished. Women take anything from between 15 and forever. 15 minutes to forever. The study is still ongoing that they started in 1984. $15 to 25 minutes. That's hard work, man. And that's why you should teach your husband that you're not just a vagina. You're a vulva. And I'm not going to any more detail. I left my props at home. You're welcome. But go and explore your own body. Be in touch with your own body. Now know how it looks so that you can help your husband find your... Hy weet nie. Hy weet nie. He does not know. You have to teach him. You have to take his hand. Kom, ek wys jou nou. Okay, so sidetracked. Back to the porn study. Look at the face, look at the breast, look at the... Thank you. Thank you. Now we know that men looked at the breast and looked at the vulva, but we didn't know that he looks at the face, at the woman's face. And if you've ever saw, fine, we're in a church here, you've never seen pornography. But the woman's face, it's an act. It's not real. Pornography is not real. It's not a reflection of what real sex is. It's a fantasy. Okay? So you don't have to compete with it. Okay, sure. You don't have to compete with it. It's not real. It's fake. It's fake. It's as fake as that Mills and Boons you read. Mm-hmm. That's also porn. Okay. And if you measure your husband up to the very rich, beautiful person from Europe in your Mills and Boon that will put you on his jet plane and fly you to the moon, your husband cannot compete against that. So stop it. Okay. But if you, it's acting. Pornography is acting. If you look at the face of the woman, it's never a face like, it's a face of, I'm still working on my female orgasm face. There's not a lot of references out there. And why does the man looks at the face of the woman that's showing pleasure on it? Because he thinks he's the reason for that pleasure. So he's very excited. Can we try something new? He does his finger tap on your body that indicate that he's no less. You see the signal, you accept the signal, And you go into your default missionary position. Missionary position, aka dead casket. Come on, man, your husband doesn't have a vampire fetish. What a time to join our session. Welcome. We are talking on sex. Yes. Called that a quickie. And I know we as Christians like the missionary position because it sounds so spiritual. But really, you may explore with other positions. Okay, I won't say that. So, looking. When your husband makes love to you, don't give him the dead casket look. Winnie, you are breaking his ego. His dipstick. You're breaking it. And if he gets a glimpse that he's unable to pleasure the woman he loves, it's finished. You have to show him you like it. Now, I'm not saying going in a total fake fit. He'll know something is wrong because he's still got his clothes on. Being naked should produce joy. No. Now, there's a couple of myths that we should debunk before we continue. One of those myths I spoke about it in my previous session, that sex is not the most important thing. It is. In your marriage, it is. Is there a Bible book dedicated on communication? No. On respect? No. On sex? Yes. A whole book on it? Nah, it's not that important. It is. Sex is the only biological thing that you can do with your husband that produces oxytocin in your brain, that creates a neurological connection of a feeling of unity. So God created sex. The more you have sex with your husband, the more he will walk after you and going, There's one other activity that you can do that produces the same amount of oxytocin: breastfeeding your baby. Because God knew that he has to create a very strong emotional bond with this non-sleeping, screaming, burping, farting thingy. Otherwise, you're going to kill it. And the only reason why you're not killing your own child is because of the hormone called oxytocin. Oh, shut up. No. Oh. That's why sometimes I give the baby back to my wife and I said, listen, I'm not breastfeeding. I've got a serious deficiency on oxytocin now for my kid. For her own safety, just take her away now. Because my testosterone wants to. Oxytocin. Interesting that breastfeeding and sex is the two activities that produces the most oxytocin. Why do you think? Because it's building the two most important relationships in your life, with your spouse and with your kids. Marriage is tough, and it's impossible without oxytocin. So you can see if the pop-up pharmacy has some oxytocin for you. Otherwise, if they're out of stock, go and sleep with your husband. Sorry, speaking plainly here. Go and have sex with your husband. We need to wake up. Go sleeping with my husband. No, we're awake. Another myth is sex is a man thing. No, it's not. It's a human thing. So part of that vulva is something called a clitoris. Ever heard of it? You've got one. If you don't know where, just think on the Cremora advert. There we go, you got it. That part of your body has got no other function but to produce joy for you. It's not even located inside the vagina for your husband's pleasure. It's there for your pleasure. And the devil didn't give you this. God did. Sex is not just there for the female to give birth. Sex has got three functions, three pillars. Procreation. Thank you for keeping the species alive. And thank you for letting it go through your body and not mine. Procreation, relation, lovemaking, intimacy, romantic, looking in each other's eyes and going, ah. That's important. That's lekker. And then the third pillar, for no other purpose but to have fun. Recreational sex. Joyful sex. Playful sex. So if you want to link it to the female body, the vagina is for the relation, your womb is for the procreation, and your clitoris is for the play. Now you can go back to your mother and tell her, why didn't you teach me this about my body? You called it a vajayjay, but it is so much more. Sex is not just a man thing because God made the woman to enjoy it even more than men. Because after 3 minutes, is hy klaar. You can have faith to raise someone from the dead, but he's not standing up. But the woman, she can go on and on and on and on and on. Fantastic. Sex is not just a man thing. Did you know that it was only 60 years ago that the Western medicine acknowledged that that women could have orgasm, that women could have pleasure during sex. And women that were sexually frustrated, in other words, Liz. And it's not just men that gets Liz. Why do you think you eat so much chocolate? You're just diverting your list to somewhere else. Studies have shown that the same endorphins being released while eating chocolate is what's being released during sex. So, put the Cadbury away and pick up your husband's chocolate log. Be a sweetie pie now. What did I want to say? Oh well. Was something brilliant, I'm sure. So sex is not just a man thing, it's a woman thing as well. Another myth, it should be your marriage duty. If you don't give it to your husband, shame gaan hy vrek. Don't put sex in the same category as washing his dishes, ironing his clothes, and cleaning up after him. Don't. Because you're not going to enjoy it. It should not be a duty. It should be a pleasure. And sex should not just be your 3 minutes. It should be a dance. A lifelong dance. Okay. I see that I haven't convinced you that sex is a good thing, a godly thing. Okay, so let's give some evidence out of the Bible that sex is important for God, for us to do well. I mentioned that it's the only book in the Bible that's dedicated just to one topic, Song of Songs. It's nicely positioned in the middle of the Bible for us. Because, fine, I don't want to say that. All the other Bible books in the Bible, how many are there? 66. All of them were written by men. Why? Because in that time, sorry ladies, they didn't care what you thought. Second-class citizen. And so everything with value, anything meaning men wrote it. Want hulle weet beter. Luckily we starting to enlighten. Nee, nie meer so nie. And but Song of Song, it's the only book in the Bible that's co-authored by a woman. Woohoo! The woman didn't co-author the book on prayer or on faith, but on sex. Because she's got something to say. So say it. Now in that time, And you don't even have, this is what I wanted to say. 60 years ago, they called the list in the Vrou hysteria. It was a medical condition. What was the cure? Is that an official question? Must I answer it? So the medicine that the doctor gave was a physical massage. Go watch the movie, Hysteria. Go Google it. Okay, Wikipedia. Women went to the doctor to rub out their hysteria. They didn't realize it was an orgasm because women can't get that. Women can't get pleasure. So after a while, the doctor's hand started cramping up because obviously the clientele went around the block. You don't believe me? I promise you, this is true. This doctor, his hand is broken. So he's the first person that invented the vibrator. Let the machine do the job. Thank you very much. Anyway, then movies came out and they took the vibrator and made it into a porn industry, and then it became dirty and ugly. But before then, where you didn't buy it at an adult shop, you bought it at your clinic, at your pharmacy. It was in the women's catalog. You bought it next to your makeup. You didn't hide it underneath the bed. It was on top, next to the bed. It's a medical emergency. Hysteria. And only 60 years ago, did they stop with that diagnosis. So that means if you're 60 years old, sorry for you, it doesn't exist. Pleasure for you doesn't exist. That's hardcore. No. That just shows how narrow-minded men are. We don't know. We've was as clueless. That's why your husband needs you to help him, to direct him, to pleasure you. She listened, she went back out. He's smiling. Happiness. Now, back in that time, a woman's value was directly linked to the amount of sons that she bore for her husband. Ne? Especially if your husband were the king, in Song of Songs' case. So you would expect when the parts in Song of Song that she writes will reflect that desire of birthing an heir for him. Nowhere in those 8 chapters, nowhere in the female's writing on sexuality is her desire to procreate. Nowhere. She writes about her desire to climb into his apple tree and taste his fruit. A lot of women in my counseling sessions tell me, Timothy, it's not as if I don't think on things that I don't get the desire for my husband. I do, but there's a block between what I'm thinking that I want to do and actually doing it. And that block is your master stem. It's your mother's voice. You mag nie dit nie. Don't do that. Society is blocking you. Because if the woman goes over and acts on her sexuality, you are a slut. A cheap whore. You don't want to be that. So, maak maar toe. That is listening to that whispers again. Putting shame on your nakedness, on your sexuality. Don't. If you've got a high libido, then jump on your stallion and ride him till he can go no more. What was Jesus' first miracle? He turned water into wine. Where? In Canaan. At a wedding. And it's important. This is his first miracle. So he's drawing our attention to it because it's important. He didn't raise someone from the dead. He didn't make a blind to see, a deaf to hear. He didn't put a leper back together. Because they're full of. I know, it's a very stupid old joke, but I like it. How do you know a leper sent you the letter? His tongue is still stuck on the seal. Wow, that's stupid. That's the type of jokes I started off with when I did schools. Okay, anyway, okay. I don't believe that Jesus had to work and practice his miracles. So he started with small miracles and worked himself back up. No, he was God from the beginning. So his first miracle is an important miracle. Turning water into wine at a wedding. Now, it's important to understand it was a Jewish wedding and not a South African wedding. Because a South African wedding is a midday afternoon affair. A Jewish wedding went from a week till 2 weeks. Easy. The honeymoon for a year. Deuteronomy says, when a man marries a woman, he should be free for a year not to go to war, nor do special work. And in that year, he must only dedicate himself to please his wife. Because that's about how long it takes. A year of 24/7. That's harde werk. That's what the Bible says. Okay. But today is different. So the wedding is a week, 2 weeks. And halfway during the beginning, time for talking, the ceremony stops talking, and the betrothed couple must go into the tent that is erected there. While everyone still stays, they must consummate their marriage now. They must go and have sex. Okay. Performance anxiety, huh? But don't worry, it's only 3 minutes. But spare a thought for the women. Because when they're done there, the husband must come out with the white linen, show the blood stain, proving that she was a virgin. Because if there was not a blood stain, what happens? they stone her. Right there, right now. I'm still trying to do some research and finding out, do they stone her with the gifts that they brought? Or were the stones provided for? I still have to do some research on that. You can be glad you're not a Jew. Hallelujah. Thank God for grace. And at this stage, he held up the blood stain, and all the parents and the parents-in-laws sighed a sigh of relief. We don't have to kill our daughter now. Hallo ma? Now I'm at a sex talk. You want to come? At this point, the anxiety of the possible death is past. So what emotion will flow over you now? Happiness. That will never be the same again. And what do you ask for if you're happy? Bring more wine. It's a celebration. And then the kelner went, Aish. We were with this lady at school, and she had a little bit of a reputation, and we didn't know she's going to pass this point in this marriage. So we didn't buy enough wine. We got Kleenex. We prepared for the worst. The wine is finished. We didn't saw this coming. And this is where Jesus entered the scene. And he took the celebration of the marriage, but the sexuality of it as well. And he made the best wine. 600 liters of wine. They were drunk. Now, it is possible. Now, I believe that this is still God's number one miracle that he wants to perform in every marriage. To turn a watered-down marriage into a love-drunk relationship. That's his first miracle. That's the important one. Because if the husband and wife is united, the next generation is. And if the next generation is united, the world is a better place. It starts by us having sex with our spouse. Want to change the world? Get naked. You can survive on water. You can. You can. But water does not produce joy. Wine does. Have your full. Okay. Some reasons why sex is good for you. Studies have shown that it helps to cope with stress. So, who of your husbands has quite a stressful job? Help him. Sex boosts your immune system. So if you don't want to be sick so often, sex is even a good weight loss program. You can burn up to 200 calories in a 30-minute session, but then kan jy nie net daar lê nie. You have to work it. Did you know that sex halves the chance of your husband getting a heart attack? True. Why? If your heart stops pumping, so will you. It's all about blood flow. That's what happens. It's blood. It's not a muscle. So you can tell him he can stop gymming it, it's not getting bigger. You have what you have. It's blood that flows into the genitalia and lifts it up. And that's why erectile dysfunction is a precursor for heart disease a lot of the times. So check it out. And if you want to keep your husband alive, you know what to do. Unfortunately, this knowledge works in the reverse as well if you want him dead. Here's an interesting one for you. Sex reduces pain and headaches. Oh, honey, I can't tonight. I've got the splitting headache. Oh, I know what's good for you. Take as often as necessary. It reduces the chance of your husband getting prostate cancer, which is the number one cancer killer in males. And for women, it strengthens your PC muscle. Your PC muscle is the thing that when you wee and you knipe, that's your PC muscle. And after giving birth and getting older and gravity working its way on your body, we start becoming incontinent. Jy lekker bietjie. And to strengthen your PC muscle, it's a good thing. So so not just to have a lot of sex, but to practice it. So when you in the shower again, just let it go. And then you do that for a month, and your PC muscles get strong. I promise you, when you have sex again, you can turn your husband's neck around. Sex helps you to sleep better. You know this because your husband snores every time afterwards. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't help you sleep better because I was already asleep. Now you wake me. Yeah, but just think on the deep sleep that you'll have after you released. Here's an interesting one. Research has shown that sex helps a woman with her mood. So I've got clients, and I ask them, if you have sex, how does your husband treat you the day after? Good. So why don't you do it every day? Are you stupid or something? What the hell? You've got the answer. It's not so complicated. I'll end off with the story of Isaac and Rebekah. They went to a new place, and he was fearful for his life. He thought that the men in Philistine will kill him to get his wife because she was beautiful. So he said, she is my sister. Okay. And Genesis 26, verse 8. When Isaac had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked down from a window and saw Isaac caressing his wife, Rebekah. And then if you read further, he was quite upset because by what he saw, he realized, hey, boetie se sien nie. But we put the word caressing in. That doesn't sound very kinky or sexy. A hug. Yeah, it can be also caressing. So the Hebrew word is twakak. Twakak. It's Hebrew. It means to laugh, to play, to enjoy yourself. That's what Isaac done to Rebekah. He twakaked her. Now, I don't say go home and tell your husband, tonight you're going to twakak. Okay? Don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But remember when you were still dating, remember your honeymoon phase. You twakaked a lot. You laughed a lot. You played a lot. You teased a lot. That's the recreational part of sex. The fun part. Don't lose that. I don't care how long you've been married. There's no excuse to lose that. So hopefully you could get something from this workshop, that it's okay to let the inner sex goddess that's in you, that God has placed in you, to let her out. It's okay. You're still a godly woman. Okay. Is there anyone with a question? I'll open the floor for questioning. Otherwise, if there's no questions, then I'll send you back home. Okay. Any questions? Okay, well, I've got one question there. Is it biblical to use Viagra? There is I can't remember the scripture right now. I think it's in one of the prophets, Ezekiel or something, where God tells him to make some herbs together. In the New Testament, Paul tells Timothy, go and drink some wine for your upset stomach. So it is biblical to get medicine with the ailment. And so I can't see why Viagra would be wrong. If you give it to your scallumpy, then obviously, then yes. Another question? If there's any? That's an awesome question. Say that. When did I say when a woman is 60, they don't? Oh, yeah. No. Okay. You might be 60, but you're not dead. Okay. Hallelujah! Woo! And you thought a black person can't blush. So I just want to clarify. No, I didn't mean 60. I mean 60 years ago, I was trying to make a joke that you born in that generation that didn't allow you to have pleasure with it. So, no, please don't die yet. Come on. Okay.
Just to add on that, age is just a number.
69 is more than a number, but Will won't tell us. What inspired me to become a sexologist? My wife. Yes, she said, why don't you go and study sexology? Because at that stage I was contemplating going from business back to being a pastor or to study psychology. But I didn't want to do either because there's enough pastors and there's enough counselors. I wanted to do something different. And then my wife suggested, why don't you become a sexologist? I said, what? Is there something like that? What the hell? And I think she thought if I do that, I'll leave her more alone. But we've got 5 kids. I take my work home with me. This is just to check me out. Because the people that invited me, they didn't know if I'm kosher or something. So this is just to check me out. Because with men, you get one chance. Okay? With women, you're forgiving. I can talk the most load of, you'll be okay. But men only give you one chance. So, you like me? Get me back for the men. Okay? Something like that. Yes. Awesome question. And let's understand that erectile dysfunction happens to all men. There will come a time when he can't hoist the flag all the way to the top. It hangs half-mast. It's normal, and there's a lot of things that contribute to that. Stress and medication and stuff. But understand sexuality in that when sexuality is not possible anymore or every time, can go over to sensuality. Sensuality. So I never answered the question, what's the biggest sex organ? Your skin. Your skin. Touch. So sensuality, sexuality's focus is on sex, on the deed. Okay. Sensuality's focus is just touch. the erotic touch. So my advice is don't make the situation worse than it is. Don't try and force yourself through the situation. Accept it. You can have as much fun with okay, sensuality. Okay, thank you very much.